Before we talk about Accurate One, let us talk about you, your claims, your cycle time, your costs, and the pressure to deliver a better customer experience while keeping every claim compliant and under control. Because once a claim is reported, the clock starts ticking. Every hour affects the outcome. Cycle time increases, costs increase, customer satisfaction drops, and the claim becomes harder to manage. Claims rarely slow down for just one reason. Usually, something breaks in the process. Documentation is incomplete. The scope does not match real construction costs, or the file is not fully reviewed before payment. And when that happens, the claim becomes more complicated. Cycle time increases, supplements begin to appear, and costs start creeping in. On a report, that shows up as longer cycle times and higher severity. But that is not where the story ends. Because beyond the metrics, there is a real cost to delay. For the homeowner, a pending claim does not feel like a status. It feels like their life is on hold. Financial pressure starts to build. Out-of-pocket expenses, temporary living situations, repairs that cannot move forward. Emotionally, they are navigating uncertainty, frustration, and fatigue while trying to make sense of a process they do not fully understand. And over time, trust begins to erode. Not because something catastrophic happened, but because nothing is happening fast enough. When the process breaks down, what we call customer experience becomes something much heavier. It becomes stress. That is why we developed a simple framework for managing claims more effectively. We call it the Accurate One 3C framework. Capture, calculate, certify. 3 words, 3 steps. But they define the entire life cycle of a successful claim. Let us start with the first step in the framework. Capture. Because if the loss is not captured correctly at the beginning, every step that follows becomes harder. If the documentation is incomplete, if key details of the loss are unclear, if measurements are missed, the claim begins slowing down almost immediately. Adjusters spend time going back and forth. Re-inspections become necessary, and questions start appearing that should have been answered on day one. That is where cycle time begins to grow. But there is another problem that appears when the capture phase is not done correctly. The policyholder begins losing confidence. If the documentation feels incomplete, if measurements appear questionable, or if new issues keep appearing later, the customer starts wondering whether the loss was evaluated accurately. And once confidence begins to slip, the situation becomes much harder to manage. Now the homeowner may call a contractor or bring in a public adjuster, not because they want conflict, but because they want certainty. That is why the capture phase is so important. It is the moment when the adjuster has the opportunity to establish confidence, to show that the loss was evaluated accurately, clearly, and professionally from the very beginning. Before we go deeper into this first step, it is helpful to understand something about Accurate One. Accurate One provides a wide range of services across the claims lifecycle. In this presentation, we are going to highlight a few specific capabilities that help illustrate how our approach works. These examples demonstrate how Accurate One supports the framework we mentioned earlier. Capture, calculate, certify. Later, we will also provide a broader overview of the full range of services Accurate One offers across the claims process. At the start of a claim, the goal should be simple. Create a clear, complete, and defensible record of the loss. A record that allows anyone reviewing the claim, whether it is an adjuster, a manager, an auditor, or even a contractor, to understand exactly what happened. When that record exists, the claim moves forward much more smoothly. Fewer questions, fewer re-inspections, and far fewer delays. This is where technology can make a real difference. But technology alone is not the answer. Artificial intelligence done poorly is no better than the processes it replaces. Just because someone says they use artificial intelligence does not mean the results are better. At Accurate One, technology is paired with experienced claims professionals who understand construction, coverage, and real-world claim handling. That combination is what allows the framework to work. In addition, our technology is designed to support real claims work, and it is paired with experienced claims professionals who understand construction, coverage, and property losses. And later in this presentation, we will demonstrate how our system can review an entire claim file and return meaningful insights in just minutes. So hang with us. We will come back to that shortly. One example of how this works in the capture phase is 3-dimensional property imaging. Instead of relying only on photos and written notes, we capture a digital model of the property. This allows adjusters, supervisors, and auditors to virtually walk the loss at any time. They can review measurements, understand the layout of the property, and see details that might otherwise be missed. The result is a clearer and more reliable record of the loss. Another challenge during the capture phase involves documenting personal property. Contents claims often require reviewing long inventories and evaluating large numbers of individual items. Artificial intelligence-assisted documentation helps organize and evaluate that information much more efficiently. This allows adjusters to move through the documentation process faster while maintaining accuracy. It is also important to understand something about Accurate One. While we bring advanced technology to the claims process, we are also an independent adjusting firm with nationwide reach. We have experienced adjusters who can respond quickly and be on site wherever a claim occurs. So while we leverage technology to improve documentation, analysis, and oversight, the work is still grounded in real-world claims experience. That combination, modern tools and experienced adjusters, allows us to support claims both digitally and on the ground. All of these capabilities support the first step in the Accurate One framework. Capture. Capture the loss clearly. Capture the details accurately. Capture the information needed so the rest of the claim can move forward with confidence. Because when the loss is captured correctly at the beginning, the next step becomes much easier. Once the loss has been captured clearly and accurately, the next step is calculate. And this is where many claims begin to experience friction, when the estimate does not match the realities of construction costs. Let us look at that next step. Calculate. Estimating software is a powerful tool, but it is only as accurate as the expert operating it. Our adjusters do not just accept regional data, they verify it using deep construction experience. They ensure the proper scope is established from day one, not just a list of items, but a real-world plan. When that initial scope is misaligned, the entire process breaks down. Capture should not stop at documentation. It should carry forward into the estimate. Instead of rebuilding measurements from photographs or notes, the adjuster is working directly from a digital model of the property. That means faster estimates and more accurate ones. But technology alone does not guarantee an accurate estimate. That is why Accurate One also supports the calculation phase with experienced claims professionals and contractor-backed insight. Our adjusters understand construction practices and actual repair costs. They know how to write an estimate that reflects the work required to restore the property. So while technology helps organize the data and measurements, experienced professionals ensure the estimate is accurate, realistic, and defensible. When the estimate reflects the realities of construction, several things happen. Contractors spend less time challenging the scope. Adjusters spend less time revising estimates. And the claim moves forward with far fewer supplements and disputes. That reduction in friction helps keep the claim moving efficiently. All of this supports the second step in the Accurate One framework. Calculate. Calculate the scope clearly. Calculate the scope realistically. Calculate the scope in a way that reflects the work required to complete the repair. Because when the scope is calculated correctly, the claim moves forward faster and with far less friction. Once the loss has been captured clearly and the scope has been calculated correctly, there is one final step. Before the claim is finalized, someone has to ensure the file is complete, consistent, and defensible. That is the purpose of the final step in the Accurate One framework. Certify. Capture gives you clarity. Calculate gives you accuracy. The final step is certify. This is where everything is reviewed: the documentation, the scope, the decisions, to ensure the claim is correct, complete, and defensible. Because before a claim is finalized, someone has to answer a simple question: does everything in this file fit together? And that is not a small task. A single claim file can include estimates, photographs, reports, notes, and correspondence, sometimes hundreds of pages of documentation. Traditionally, reviewing that file takes time, so most organizations review a percentage of their claims, focusing on samples to look for issues. And that makes sense. There are cost constraints, time constraints, and operational constraints. But what is changing is the ability to expand that level of review, to move beyond sampling and begin evaluating more claims, more consistently and more objectively, at your pace, with the right controls in place. And this is where it becomes really compelling, because the cost to review more claims using artificial intelligence can now be lower than the cost to review a percentage of claims manually. Not to replace how you operate, but to expand your level of oversight. And that is where this becomes interesting. In the next section, you will see how we can review an entire claim file and return meaningful insights in minutes. This is what artificial intelligence done right looks like. In summary, review is no longer limited by time, by sampling, or by manual effort. What that means is that reviews can be more consistent, more objective, and applied across more of your claims. And importantly, this is not all or nothing. You can transition on your terms, configured to your operation. Now let me show you what that looks like. Let me introduce what we call ACE, the Accurate Claims Examiner. ACE is designed to analyze an entire claim file and identify potential issues, inconsistencies, and areas that may require further review. What we are going to do here is upload a complete claim file. The same types of materials you deal with every day: estimates, photos, reports, adjuster notes. And as ACE processes that file, it is reviewing multiple things at the same time. It is looking at the estimate structure, checking for inconsistencies, evaluating the documentation, and identifying areas where the scope may need attention. And it does all of this using rules that can be configured to your organization. So instead of manually reviewing hundreds of pages, ACE can return meaningful insights in just minutes. Let us take a look. ACE is not only for supervisors or auditors, adjusters can use it as well. Imagine an adjuster working a complex loss. Before finalizing the estimate, they can run the file through ACE. Within minutes, the system highlights potential issues. That allows the adjuster to review the estimate, make adjustments where necessary, and finalize the claim with greater confidence. Now let us look at the results. ACE has completed its review. In just minutes, the entire file has been analyzed. What you are seeing is a structured summary. What is consistent, what needs attention, and where gaps may exist. What used to take hours now takes minutes. This is what we mean when we talk about artificial intelligence done right. Technology that supports experienced claims professionals. Technology that helps identify issues earlier. Technology that strengthens the quality and consistency of the claim process. And because the system works quickly and efficiently, organizations can expand oversight while reducing the workload placed on adjusters and supervisors. Accurate One also supports API integration. That means clients can connect our system with their existing programs and workflows, helping information move more efficiently across the claim lifecycle. This reduces manual handoffs, supports better workflow continuity, and allows Accurate One to fit more easily into a connected claims operation. Capture the loss accurately, calculate the scope correctly, certify the claim confidently. When those three things happen, several things follow naturally. Claims move faster. Employees spend less time dealing with friction and rework. Customers remain confident in the process. But technical execution alone is not enough. At Accurate One, we know that strong claim handling is not just about technical accuracy. It also depends on clear communication and transparency. These principles are embedded in our culture and in the way we operate from start to finish. From the outset, we keep clients aligned, informed, and confident in the direction of the claim. We believe clients should have clear visibility throughout the claim lifecycle, with a shared understanding of progress, decisions, and next steps. And when that level of communication and transparency is combined with a disciplined claims framework, the results show up where they matter most. At the end of the day, our goal at Accurate One is very simple. We are here to help you improve claim outcomes in the areas that matter most. First, cycle time. When claims are captured accurately, calculated correctly, certified confidently, and communicated clearly throughout the process, claims move faster and with less friction. Second, customer experience. When policyholders and carriers have better visibility, stronger communication, and more confidence in the claim process, the experience improves for everyone involved. And third, costs. When claims move faster, require less rework, and avoid unnecessary disputes or delays, organizations gain better control over the cost of the claim. That is what the Accurate One framework is designed to deliver. If you would like to explore how Accurate One can support your claims operation, we would welcome the opportunity to continue the conversation. We are always happy to sit down and discuss how these services could integrate with your claims workflow and help improve efficiency and cost control. But there is also another option. One of the solutions we demonstrated today, ACE, the Accurate Claims Examiner, is available as a digital service that organizations can begin using immediately. You will see the details in the handout we just shared, including the website and information on how to access ACE. So whether you would like to schedule a conversation about broader claims support or begin exploring ACE right away, we would be glad to help you take the next step. Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to the opportunity to work with you. Have a great day.